being a giver is success. And the more that you give, it's just like the Bible says. The more you give, the more you receive. My father was a conditional giver. My father wasn't a taker, but there was always some type of transactional, being a businessman, there was always some type of transaction. That's how I was raised. But once I started giving, and I'll give you an example, I had a buddy that was blind, and he was Romanian, and he asked me for a loan of $300 back when I was, probably didn't even have the money. He says, Rock, don't worry about it, I'll pay you back, man. And you know what he wanted the money for? So he could go back, as a blind man, go back to Romania to help his brother get a generator in Romania. I didn't understand how he handled cash until I dropped him off at the airport, and he would put 20s in his right pocket, 10s in his left pocket, 5s in his back pocket, and so on. That's how he handled his money. And I saw him pay at the counter. He couldn't have a credit card because he couldn't trust it. $300. I had to pray on it myself and say, you know what? Just let it go. I love the guy so much, and for what he was doing it for, the effort. I was probably early 40s, had an alimony, child support. I had a business. I had obligations and so on. I probably didn't have the money. But you know what? I said, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to be honest with you. I had the mindset where, you know what, I'll never get it back, because that's what I was taught over the years. Never to co-sign, never to give money unless it's some type of investment or something like that. Something's got to be in it for me, because that's how I was raised when I was younger. Well, guess what happened? That gentleman not only ended up paying me back, I was in tears because I never expected it. And guess where he returned the money to me? He returned it to me at Rochester Mayo Hospital on the way into cancer that he eventually died. But I was there. I don't know if I let him keep the money or what, I don't even recall. But I remember going into the doctor's office with him. I attended the consultation, and the consultation was his last. I did not know that, because I was going back and forth with him once a month for about 2 years. I drove, it was about an hour drive at the time. And I would just, attend him. He was about my age at the time. And I remember going into the doctor's office. I believe he was Czechoslovakian. He's Romanian. And they had some type of non-English dialogue going. And the doctor was crying. And I was looking at what's going on? What happened? Here, my friend was explaining to him that it's at the end of the road. The testing of the chemicals are going to be discontinued, and they can't help him anymore. And my Romanian friend was there telling him, thank you for trying to save my life. Thank you for giving it all you got. And they were both crying, but I didn't notice it. Why? Because he had no tears. He was blind, and he didn't wear sunglasses. Just amazing. And when I walked out, I said, because I could feel it then that, he was all choked up. And I says, well, what happened? That's when he explained to me that he was saying goodbye. And I lived in Florida, and he was in Minnesota, so I returned when I realized he was in hospice. I went to see him, and he was listening to audiobook on inspiration and motivation. He was an athlete. He was a national soccer player for Romania until he went blind. And the blindness was a different story, how he got that. It was all politically based and violence. I went to see him die, and he was still a powerful man. I still have his photo on one of my counters because he was so inspirational. Now that's a fucking man. And that was a giver. And here the guy is blind and he's giving to everybody else. And by the way, when he passed away, I was invited to the Romanian community and went to the service. Here he had a paid home, which is a beautiful home. And he knew all about it, every space. It was clean. It was always awesome. And he gave and gifted his home to his nieces, 2 nieces of his sisters, and gifted the home. So when I went to the service, I was walking out. They gave me a copy of his death certificate. They thanked me in broken English, and they gave me his walking stick. I still have his walking stick. And let me tell you a short story about his walking stick. We used to go take walks around Lake Como in St. Paul, Minnesota. And he was about my age, and we were both single, and I forgot I had to be early 40s. And as we were walking, women would pass us on this lake. And as they would pass us, and hopefully they were single, a single person walking by, he would tell me through his sense, his nose sense, the perfume that woman had. And he had his walking stick. No shit. I'll never forget that. And I used to tease him about how sick he was. I was jealous. I was jealous that he could tell. That's how classy this guy was. He was a stud, man. And he taught me courage. He wouldn't stop at anything. And this guy was in fucking great shape. He was a sports therapist, and he got that through the Swiss national soccer team. Unbelievable, man. So this is my message today, is don't be a taker. That's not considered success. Being a giver, even if you can't afford it, even if it hurts. Once again, stay the course. Be a giver.